Hey, I'm Gretchen Rubin, host of the Happier with Gretchen Rubin podcast. And in a minute, I'm going to be joined by my co-host, my sister, Lilith Kraft. But while we're waiting for her to join, tell us where you're watching from. That's always so much fun. And also, we are asking today about silver linings. Yes, there's so many things that are bad right now, that are uncertain, that are producing anxiety and sorrow and worry. But what are the silver linings? So we challenged everybody on Monday to think about silver linings. So be thinking about it and be getting ready to put it in the comments, because we are going to be talking about silver linings today. Okay, now I'm going to see if I can find Elizabeth. There she is. And now just waiting for her to join. And so be thinking, oh, there you are. Hey.
Hi.
How are you?
I am good. So I'm wearing my onward and upward t-shirt to celebrate silver linings.
Oh, I should have thought of that for me too, or I should have used my my upholder mug potentially, because we have our mugs too, and I know you love a mug.
Thank you.
So silver linings. It's exciting to think about. I noted mine down here. I just realized. Oh, you know, one of my silver linings is, Elizabeth, is you had been telling me forever that I should learn how to use Venmo. And this is clearly something that I should have learned to do a million years ago. And it's one of those things, and give me a thumbs up if you've had this, where everybody's like, it's so easy, it's so easy. And yet you just can't make yourself overcome the slightest hurdle. It just seems insurmountable. Well, I had to give money to somebody that I couldn't meet with face to face. So I had to get Venmo, and so that was something that I was.
And it's the greatest. It makes life so easy.
Yeah.
And now we can Venmo each other, which is
yes, we can, because the next time we go on the road, which we hope will be
someday.
We had a lot of like, I paid for this, you paid for that, I'll pay you back. What about him? What about that? Yeah. Okay. How about you?
Now I'm seeing some silver linings come up, Gretch. Someone has found a new hiking trail near their house.
Oh, see, that's so great.
Someone says they never feel rushed, which is
that's
a silver lining for now. I don't know if that'll continue. Like some silver linings are now, some will continue.
So that's a great distinction. What's a silver lining about this period, which is the safe at home period, which again, it's like, one silver lining might be not rushing, but then there's the silver lining that's going to carry forward. Like, I know how to use Venmo, and this listener knows how to, has found this hiking trails, and someone else has like saved money. So that's one that's sort of both for now and for future. Someone says my husband can work from home with me and the new baby. So that's something that's right now. It's an advantage of right now.
Someone adopted 2 cats.
Ooh, yeah.
A lot of pet adoption. In fact, a friend of mine is wanting to adopt a dog, and she said she's having trouble like finding a dog to adopt because so many people are adopting dogs. So that's great.
Well, I have to say I'm so grateful for Barnaby. Yes. Someone says no more FOMO for now. That's so true. Someone says exploring my faith online. So that's something too, where like with a little bit more downtime, maybe that becomes easier. So if you're just joining, it's Gretchen Rubin and Lilith Kraft. We're the hosts of the Happier with Gretchen Rubin podcast, as well as being sisters. And we are talking today about silver linings. What are some silver linings that are coming from this time? I think one of the silver linings is that people really are understanding the importance of teachers. And IT professionals.
Someone mentioned that in the comments.
Grocery store workers. I mean, the people that we didn't pause to thank. We're like, oh my gosh, this is you add so much.
And we're getting a lot of people talking about decluttering silver linings. I think a lot of people are doing that. Gretch, can I tell you sort of a funny one that I have realized?
Yes.
One silver lining for me is that I think, in Hollywood, and I don't know how true this is in other industries, there's this habit of people hugging in work meetings. So like you hug people who you don't necessarily even know at all. That's just sort of what happens. And I don't like it. I just don't like hugging people I don't know. And I think that will be gone forever. I don't think there's going to be any more hugging between people who aren't close. And to me, that is a silver lining. I'm
Okay.
happy to do away with hugging
Okay.
people
And
I
it's
don't know.
not in a curmudgeonly way. It's just like, okay, we're not doing that anymore. Okay.
No,
Good.
that's just not going to happen. I mean, so people aren't even going to shake hands,
Yeah.
much less hug.
Yeah, that's interesting. It'll be interesting to see what replaces it, because there was, now nobody has to do it, but there was like the elbow bump, there was the putting your hand on your chest and sort of bowing.
Yeah.
Um,
A lot of people think we're going to end up bowing, like sort of that's just where it will go.
so here's what's interesting about bowing is I think, you know, it's a very, you know, you very associated with a Japanese custom. It feels like something that you want to do. It's just like shaking hands. There's kind of a natural element to it. There's something about bowing where that feels like a human impulse. Like I often have had the impulse to bow, even though it wouldn't be culturally appropriate. So that feels righter to me than like bumping elbows, which seems like a fake version of something that no one would ever do. And so I could see, and like putting your hand on your heart and bowing, to me, that just feels like a graceful gesture that I could imagine people doing. So it will be, I will be leading the charge on that one too.
And someone says they feel the same about air kissing. I think air kissing is largely going to be over as well, because just people aren't going to want to be in that, you know,
close
proximity.
Yeah. Someone says I can attend more events without having to travel as they're all online. Well, that's something that I think a lot of people are really curious. There's a lot of people are feeling like that's the silver lining. So how much are we going to learn from that in the future in terms of how workflow, conferences, things like this are going to happen? I realize here's the silver lining for me, kind of in that vein. So I'm in a couple of book groups and have been like, you know, nudging them to have these Zoom meetings. So great. And so we had our second one set up for my adult book group, which is mostly people who live right in my neighborhood. And then I was just happened to be doing a walk and talk with a friend of mine who I know through working at the Federal Communications Commission. She now lives in San Francisco, but at one time she lived in New York and she was part of this book group. And as I was speaking to her, I was like, oh my gosh, our book group is meeting by Zoom tonight. You could join us. And then I realized we have 4 members. One lives in Boston, one lives in London, and 2 live in San Francisco now. And so I said, they can come back because we're all meeting by Zoom anyway. And it was so fun. And I only realized that day, so only one could join. And we have this immense time spread because London and the West Coast. But we were thinking, well, we'll meet on a weekend at noon. And then hopefully everybody can join. And so that's a silver lining because then we can first, part of our group. And they were, they're also beloved. So like now we're all really excited to do that. Yeah. Well, because a lot of things you realize you don't have to meet in person. It's better to meet in person, but you don't have to meet in person.
Someone says more hand washing is a silver lining. And that's true. I'm hoping maybe this will cut down on flu and colds as well.
I think it absolutely will. Absolutely.
Because we're all just washing our hands, and kids are really learning they have to like soap and wash, 20 seconds.
Someone saying silver lining, seeing you 2 every day. Oh, that's nice. So, somebody says slower pace of life for adults and kids. I think that's a huge one. I think many, many people. However, there are some people who are working more than ever. I did a call for the Happiness Project Experience earlier today. And one woman was like an IT specialist for a school, and she's just working frantically because, of course, you can imagine.
When I have friends who work at banks where the small business loans, they're working 18 hours a day. Right. I mean, they're just ragged. So it depends where you are.
Depends on where you are. Yeah. Someone says, I'm learning to live simply and not buy things I don't need. How many, you mentioned this, Elizabeth, I think, how many people think that their purchasing habits are going to change? Give us a thumbs up if you think that you are going to purchase less when all this is over. You think so?
I think so.
Of course, many people will have less disposable income or really be in financial straits. So that's one thing.
Well, and I'm not knowing where the future lies in LA. Yes, I definitely want to buy less. Although I sent you pictures, buy a couple of shirts because I thought they would look good in Zoom meetings. I'm starting to have a lot of Zoom professional meetings, and you have to think about what you wear.
But also, I will say, those were amazing bargains.
Well, they're great sales right now.
Yeah, I haven't.
The sales, are that yes, but yes, they were both 80% off.
There's this one color of purple. I love to wear purple, and there's not that much purple. And there's this one particular shade of purple that I really love to wear. So when you sent that, I was like, maybe I should just go on and see if I can find anything because basically I buy almost anything that's like at all acceptable that's in those colors because they're very unusual to find. So yes.
Someone else is in favor of hugs, by the way. By the way, you can hug people. I'm not saying I'm against hugging. I'm saying work people that you don't know well.
Right.
I just don't get it.
Yes, strangers, hugging strangers. Yeah, it feels very inauthentic and kind of fake LA.
It does.
Somebody and one of my so if you're just joining, it's Gretchen Rubin and Lilith Kraft. We're the hosts of the Happier with Gretchen Rubin podcast, and we're talking about silver linings. Many things are very difficult about this time, but there are certain things that are silver linings right now, or silver linings that will stretch into the future. A friend of mine in one of these Zoom meetings said that her personal and she's in a really tough situation. She's in an organization. She had to lay off a ton of people. It's been really, really rough. She said she's trying to work on her upper body definition. She's like, I gotta come out of this with something. I think it's going to be upper body definition. And she's just like doing weights. I was like, okay.
Well, Gretchen, that's
manageable.
That's another one of my silver linings. I made a list of 10. One of them is realizing I can do virtual workouts.
Yes.
So I've been doing that with my trainer for the strength code. But what I've realized is in the future, let's say I can't do it, I could set up a virtual workout with her probably at an off time.
Yes.
So it's like something I wouldn't do it every week, but if I need, it's a fill-in.
Yes.
And it wouldn't have ever occurred to me to do that before, or her, I don't think.
No.
But now I will.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. Where you see that something is a good 80% solution. Maybe you wouldn't totally switch, but it's the whole thing about don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. And a lot of times it's better to do something. And then also something that we talked a lot about habits, and that's a big theme in my book, Better Than Before, is the habit of the habit is very precious. And sometimes even if you just are like even almost symbolically keeping a habit, it's important so that people have that feeling of like, I haven't stopped. Don't break the chain. Because once people stop, it's easy not to start again. But if you keep going, and so this is the kind of thing where you could imagine it could sort of keep you going, even if you couldn't go in there, or she got sick, or whatever happened.
Yes.
There was a pandemic.
By the way, Gretchen, someone wanted to know where I got those shirts 80% off. VeronicaBeard.com, their website. Veronica Beard, as I've said, is my signature designer. Yes. So that's where I look, and they're having an archive sale. So
I like that. I like the way to put that. Oh, someone says I love purple, and it does seem to be it is hard to find the right shade. They're hard to find. Yes, I'm glad to see. Somebody said this is very important. Insurance companies were the only barrier to telemedicine before COVID-19. Yes. It's interesting. I have several friends who are doctors, and Elizabeth, you said it's been revolutionary to you as a patient. It's also been revolutionary to doctors, I think.
Yes, my friend who's a doctor said the same thing yesterday, that and they can see more patients. So it's a win for everyone, really.
Yeah. Someone says silver lining, finding good podcasts. Okay. Everybody, if you found a good podcast, put it in the notes, because everybody's looking for good podcasts. So, and then also TV shows, podcasts, books, movies. If there's anything that you're like, oh, this is my discovery, this is the thing that I'm telling all my friends, put it in the comments, because I think a lot of us are on the hunt for anything really good. I mentioned how my mother told me about Desert Island Discs, which everybody in the UK is probably very familiar with, but maybe in other parts of the country they don't know. It's this wonderful interview show. They've done more than 3,000 radio interviews, but now it's a podcast, and it's just this immense treasure trove. And it's just the kind of thing where it's like, it's interesting and it's educational, and it's like famous people who you're interested in kind of hearing about their lives and their thoughts, but it's very kind of calm.
Well, that's good.
It'd be good to listen to if you're feeling a little jangled. So that's
a ton of people, by the way, are saying walking every day. And of course, we have our 20 and 20 is a silver lining. And I know I've been walking much more.
Yes.
It feels like, you've got to make time to walk. So it'll be interesting to see if I and everyone else here keeps that up after, whenever after may be.
Well, I think one of the things that's good about it too is I feel like right now it feels good to walk. Like there's kind of a lassitude combined with restlessness that I find is happening to me, which is extremely unpleasant. It's just the way exercise is both calming and energizing. There's something sometimes where you're both sluggish and restless, and it's like, so then I feel like exercise, getting out and just sort of walking about, and also gives you sort of a sense of freedom, and it fights the claustrophobia. And I think having that positive association with walking will also help in the future, because it's like, ooh, it feels good to walk. I'm going to take this great break. Realizing that walking can be a great break is, I think, is a wonderful thing. So, and I think, this is perfect for the Walk 20 for 20, because I think a lot of people are doing really well for in our kind of hashtag Walk 20 and 20. And then you see how much better you feel. And so then that reinforces the habit. So that's great. Oh, someone's mentioning Knives Out as a great whodunit movie. My daughter Liza, like, that is exactly the kind, like, when I saw that movie, I'm like, this was designed for Liza.
We watched that together at Christmas.
Yes, we did.
Remember when we were together?
Yes, because Elizabeth is so fancy. What do you call those?
Oh, screeners.
She has screeners. So she had like a whole bag full of all of the, we saw what was the movie about the cars?
Yeah, the Ford versus Ferrari.
Ford versus Ferrari. Yeah, like every night we would have like family movie hour. Yeah, that was fun.
Gretch, I have another silver lining that's like a huge one.
What?
And maybe other people with kids of a certain age could relate to this, but they said at the beginning that the school said that remote learning could be great for the kids' executive functioning skills, like being able to do things, I guess is what that is. And it's very true for Jack. Like, he is now able to get on, go to his Zoom class, figure out what the assignments are, do the assignments, move on to another assignment. Whereas in the past, he's always had someone like sitting next to him, like, okay, do your homework. And you know what I mean? Like, coaching him through the homework. And now he's really doing it on his own. And even if there's issues with remote learning, and of course it's not as good as being in regular school, that's a skill that I don't think he would have developed. And hopefully he'll carry it forward.
And do you think it's easier for him because there's fewer distractions, so he's sort of being able to like isolate that muscle? Or do you think it's just that that's what is happening now, and so it's just the focus of kind of his learning? Or why do you think, what is it about this time that's, or he just has to because it's the nature?
I think it's because he has to, and it's like, well, this is school. So he's sort of the mindset, I have to do whatever school tells me I have to do.
Right.
And also it's just it's like a clean slate, as you say.
Right.
And also normally he has Cynthia, his nanny, who's here. Right. She can't be here because of, the situation. So it's like the Band-Aid is off. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so, and I guess he doesn't want me sitting there. So,
Well, somebody says, I think that's great. Somebody says we raise to the expectations of us. And if you're just sort of like, hey, this is what fourth graders are supposed to do. He's like, okay. That's a good point.
And I think he'll get a lot out of that moving forward.
Yeah. No, that's a huge thing. Someone said silver lining, slowly getting each closet cleaned out and tidied up. Yeah, again, you said earlier that a lot of people have been doing clutter clearing and I mean, when I wrote Outer Order Inner Calm, it was so energizing to go through. Just today, in fact, we have this closet, this large closet, which had been kind of the dumping ground for everything. We had our extra toilet paper and our extra giant bag of dog food and all this stuff. And, and I was like, it's just making me crazy that it's just like messy and overflowing. Even though the door was shut, nobody ever went in there unless you had to get something. And just this morning, I'm like, we had taken down Barnaby's dog crate. I put it under a bed. And and I'm like, I feel so great. I know this is
silver lining.
A book about this, and yet still it's a kind of a surprise how much better it does make you feel.
That's great.
Yeah.
Someone says they reread Outer Order almost every night. It soothes them.
Oh, that's lovely to hear.
It's kind of like reading a cookbook. Some people read cookbooks, as we discussed in our book club meeting. But I like rereading your Clutter Clearing book.
Well, but I have to say, I'm kind of the same way, where there's something just kind of exciting about, like, how you and I talk about with Side Hustle School. There's something just like, what do people come up with? There's just sort of this like, well, look at that. It's sort of like this vicarious aspirational achievement. And I feel that way about clutter clearing books. I have a book that's called something like How to Lose 200 Pounds in a Weekend or something like that. And it's just like, it's just fun to think about that. A lot of people say that they're reading more. So this is great because I think at first a lot of people weren't reading or having trouble reading, but it seems like now people are getting back into reading, or they're listening to audiobooks or reading ebooks.
Someone says they're going to stay with grocery store curbside pickup. A lot of people are realizing you don't have to go to the grocery store. They're doing, Instacart and curbside. And that is something that, could save you a lot of time in the future.
Isn't that interesting? See, because here in New York City, a lot of people do use Fresh Direct as we do. And and I think if you it's sort of like you doing a Zoom chat for your book group. People were like, but how could you do it? Like, how could you not pick out your own apples? And you're like, you know what? It's fine. And then once you've done it, you realize it's fine. Someone says, silver lining, I had time to deep clean my refrigerator. It was on my list for 2 years, and I am an upholder. Ooh, that feels good. Cross that thing off.
Yeah, that is a big one.
Wait, give us a thumbs up if you've been able to start reading more, because somebody just did that, and I want to see how many people are finding it easy or are now able to read. Give us a thumbs up. And that can be magazines, that can be rereading, that can be an audiobook. Yeah. Oh, there's thumbs up. That's great. Oh, it's such a solace to be able to read again, I find. Yes. And I finally was able to reread like a nonfiction. I'm working on my book about the body and the senses, and so I'm reading a book now that's basically about working memory, and which is the kind of book that would have fascinated me before. But for a while, I was like, I just really can't get into a book like that. And I picked it up, and I'm like, I can be interested in this book. I can be interested in working memory again. I'm, the magical number 7 ±2. I'm like, yes, I'm happy to be back in this land.
A lot of thumbs up for more reading.
Someone said I went on a book buying spree. And I will also get a shout out to bookshop.org if you want to support an indie and you don't have like a local indie that you love. You can use that, and that will hook you up with an indie if you want to support local bookstores, because they could really use the help. Now I know a lot of people are wondering what our next book club book is, and Elizabeth, maybe I'll call you later. I'm going to go for a walk later today. Maybe I'll call you, and we can start to ponder that.
We will hopefully announce that Friday, I would think, right? Hopefully our next book Friday.
That's a commitment.
Well, that'll be our goal.
That'll be our goal. If not, then Monday.
Well, someone says they've already met their reading goal for the year.
Well done. Okay, give us a thumbs up if you've been making progress in your 19 for 20 for COVID-19, or your 20 for 20. Either one, both count. Wait, somebody said I just tried bookshelf.org, not a website. Who knows? Is it bookshop.org? I think it's bookshop.org. Did I say bookshelf? I don't remember.
Yeah,
if somebody knows. Okay, yeah. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah.
Another silver lining, Gretchen, I think a lot of people this again is one people are experiencing, is Adam and Jack have been playing basketball together almost every day, because Jack has to do a half-hour PE. Yeah. And he can do whatever he wants. And so they decided, well, they'll play basketball, and they're doing drills and shooting, and, and it's great exercise, and it's great for Jack's basketball. And obviously it's really nice time for them together. And that's something where I could see after this time, even once he's back in school, I can still see them making a point of going out and playing basketball together. So that's a definite silver lining, because they never did it before.
Well, and that's nice for Adam too, because it's probably nice for Adam to get outside, get some sun in his face, get a little exercise. So that's a great one. Okay, well now let's, somebody says bookshop, but it's better to support indies through their actual websites. Bookstores only get 10% from bookshop. That's interesting. I did not know that, because to writers, they've really been like emphasizing bookshop. So I guess if you've got a local indie like Rainy Day Books in Kansas City, Missouri, or somebody just mentioned The Raven in Lawrence, Kansas, maybe you go for your local indie, but you have to make sure that they are filling orders and shipping out, because some are and some aren't. But at least for like Rainy Day Books, it was right on, and McNally Jackson, which is my local indie in New York City. they have it right on the front page. So they tell you what they can
Yeah.
do and what they can't do. So now let's do accountability check-in. So Elizabeth, how are you doing with the night snack bursts?
Doing okay. I'm trying to think about last night. Yeah, I think I did better last night because I got in bed earlier. For sure,
There you go.
the earlier I get in bed, the less I snack. I am definitely like the later it gets, the more the guard goes down. So I think what I would probably be better off focusing on going to bed, not on not snacking, if you see what I'm saying.
Yes.
So maybe I'll try to get in bed at 11 o'clock tonight. That would be early for me.
Now, and the thing that I keep trying to sell you on is this idea that going to bed is like a luxury, because I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be getting into bed, and I make
reframing.
Yes, and it's just, it doesn't feel. I think for you, it's like now I have to like leave all the fun behind and go to bed, whereas I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's gonna feel so good to get in bed. Maybe
someone's accountability is that they're moving, so they need to pack.
Ooh.
All right, pack those boxes.
Yes, that is. Oh yeah, 1 line a day. Yeah, love early nights. Yeah, see give me a thumbs up if you love going to bed. Like there's just feels so good to go on bed. Oh, somebody said didn't work out today. Okay, well tomorrow do it. And yeah. Oh, lots of getting our will done. All right.
Oh, that's huge. Someone has made it to day 82 in their meditation streak. That's great.
That's great. So yeah, well, someone says I'm a librarian, so I have to read for work. Yeah, that's the funny thing about like a lot of people that I know who are in book industry is like they read so much for work that they don't have any time to read for fun. That's I know a lot of people. Still cleaning and clearing and organizing. Love the bed. Yeah. Oh yeah, it feels good to get in bed. Yeah. 40 winks Wednesday. Oh, is that like you go to? Oh, that's sort of interesting. Like that you would go to bed earlier one night a week. That's kind of interesting.
That is good. I should try that.
Someone says I love lying down on a heating pad when I go to bed. Oh yeah. Is there anything that you could do that would make it like intensify the pleasure of like getting into bed? I wonder if there's something, if you could have something that's pulling you there.
Good question. Because what pulls me out of bed is coffee. Like I am that person that the way I get out of bed is imagining getting my cup of coffee. So yeah, I should think of something to draw me into bed.
Yes. Yeah. If there was like some lure, like if you were getting like a half an hour massage every night or something,
that would help. Yeah,
that would do it. But yeah, that's incredible sheets, clean sheets.
Yeah. We have been changing our sheets.
Huh?
I said Adam and I have been changing our sheets.
Oh, that's good. I've just never been that affected by sheets, I have to say. Like I like a good sheet as much as anybody, but it's not, I don't feel like I have the same aesthetic appreciation for sheets that some people seem to really like have a high level of kind of discernment about
sensitivity.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Okay, tomorrow is I'm going to be talking to Melissa Urban Hartwig, or Melissa Hartwig Urban, who, if you know anything about the Whole30, that is Melissa. And she also has the Do the Thing podcast, which is a terrific podcast if you're looking for a podcast. We were talking about that earlier. And so we'll be in to talk about everything happiness and also health related, because she thinks a lot about healthy habits related to eating and just generally kind of living a healthier life. And so
I believe she's doing a Whole30 right now.
Yes.
For the first time in a long time. Even though she sort of lives by it, she doesn't fully do it. So I think that'll be interesting.
Yeah, one
ask her about that.
And one of her points is that you go on your food freedom and then you're not on the Whole30 forever. You kind of develop this whole other thing. But yeah, she's doing a reset. And also we do these every Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern. So come back and, we'll be back.
Yes.
All right. Let's keep our hands clean and our minds clear. Bye, everyone.
Bye.